Dragon's Dogma 2 has a ton of different class/vocations, which make it incredibly difficult to choose which one that you would like to select and play. So I'm going to go over all of them, why you should choose each class, and what might be suited to you. I'm going to go over the lore, their backstory, as well as their abilities and significance with each class, as well as why you might want to play one or the other, and obviously help you decide which of the 10 that you'd like to select, and even compare and contrast them on a tier list. Let's just jump right into it. What's up, world? It's Utopia back in with another video, and today we're checking out all things Dragon's Dogma 2. So first up, we'll go over how to actually discover and unlock these classes, which are 3 different class types. Starting out, we do have a basic class type, which are the 4 starting classes. Then we have those 2 advanced class types, with the last 4 rounding out hybrid class type. Now again, you will start off with those first 4, however later on in the game by questing and helping those teachers, which are maesters, who have essentially honed in those vocations that can then teach you those vocations. Again, most of those are going to be earnable through the in-game questing systems. There is some questions on the Wayfarer one, which I will go over later in the video. However, first up, let's go over the fighter class. Again, this is a basic class type, and also a starter class that wields a one-handed sword and shield. Now this is a defensive primary class. This doesn't deal massive damage, so it's going to be a frontline tank more so playstyle, which of course helps defense with the allies. As the fighter levels up, they can enhance their shield skills, offering you and your allies increased protection, and more than likely they are going to contain a taunt, which will allow you to get aggro of those bosses and enemies. There could be a variance of other skills that could enhance your damage dealing abilities, however this is more of a fighter class that is defensive and not exactly the damage dealer. For weapon skills, we could have things like Blink Strike or even Shield Bash, where something like a Blink Strike could rush forward and deliver a powerful blow. The full list of potential weapon skills are here. Additional ones like Springboard, Gouging Skewer, Hindsight Slash, Perfect Defense, Cloudward Slash, Airward Slash, Compass Slash, Shield Summons, Impeccable Guard, Counter Slash, and Burst Strike. For fighter core skills, we could have things like Onslaught, Defend, True Deflect, Tusk Toss, Deflect, and Impale, with additional of those fighter augments. Again, we have things like Conveyance, Opulence, Diligence, Thew, Metal, Provocation, and even Dominion. Dominion is a cool one here, which allows you to lift and pin down foes for extended durations. Or again, the weapon skills and core skills are obviously skills tied to that class. And then the augments are passive buffs that you earn while leveling that specific vocation. And additionally, to clarify, you will only have a limited number of skills per category active simultaneously. Next up, we have the Thief, which is also a basic and starter class. Primary weapon of choice is daggers, obviously, which seems more of like a dexterity build, which is a vocation that primarily focuses on delivering quick bursts of melee damage. Now, it is to note that thieves do not have defensive capabilities that the fighter has, so this is a much more cautious class overall. And if it's anything like Dragon Dogma's 1, they actually did lack area of effect attacks or AoEs. They're a highly mobile class though, and they can strike multiple times. However, if it's just like previous games, the damage done per strike will typically drop with each successful hit. But again, that's balanced by the sheer number of times that they can attack during a sequence. As they level up, they'll improve not just their damage, but their overall mobility, which makes it much easier to climb onto those larger enemies. Now for their weapon skills, we have Biting Wind, Shadow Cloak, Powder Charge, Gut and Run, Ensnare, Enkindle Blades, Helm Splitter, Concussive Step, Smokescreen, and Cutting Wind. 2 examples here, one being Shadow Cloak, which enables the user to blend into their surroundings, rendering them more difficult for the hostile enemies. Or like this cool one called Enkindled Blades, where you bring the daggers together to ignite, breathing them in flame for a short period of time. It seems like it also is going to be able to be used while pinning down a foe. Now for the core skills, we have Car, Swift Step, Scarlet Kisses, Footpad, Twin Fangs, Controlled Fall, and Bump and Lift. For the Thief augments, we have Conveyance, Opulence, Verve, Vigor, Poise, Subtlety, and Gratification. And I just want to preface, as of yet, for those advanced classes, we don't have those Meister locations, so once we do get those, I will make an updated video on that. Next up, we have Archer, which again is both a starter class and a basic vocation. Now, of course, Archer uses physical damage at range. They again don't have great defenses like a Thief, but they still have the nimbleness to them. They can get back, stay out of attack range, and better position themselves to strike. And again, very similar to Thief, they don't deal single powerful blows, rather rely on the quickness and skill to fire multiple arrows in a row. And as you level Archer, they gain access to skills which allow you to shoot more arrows quickly, and even fire multiple arrows at once. Other skills will improve their mobility, allowing you to disengage and put extra distance between you and your enemies. For the Archer class weapon skills, we have Barrage Shot, Manifold Shot, Dire Arrow, Exploding Shot, Drenching Shot, Blighting Shot, Cascade Shot, Incendiary Shot, Innocuous. Again, a lot of these are going to be shots, so I'm just going to name off the names. We have Sweep, then Keen Sight, Tarring and Torrent, Whirling Arrow and Erupting, Deluging, and Heavenly Shot. A lot of different shot types there, but I will go over 2. For example here, Blighting fires a loaded arrow that adheres to foes or terrain. The arrow will burst when attacked or after a short period of time, knocking targets off balance. Now for multiple arrows, we do have Torrent, which fires multiple arrows in rapid succession, and the rate of fire actually increases with consecutive shots. However, you will not be able to move while this is active. Now for core skills, we have Loose, Steady Shot, Parting Shot, Swift Knock, Front Kick, Leaping Punt, and Punctured Dart. And again, similar to Thief, we have Conveyance and Opulence, as well as Avidity and Radiance, Ambuscade, and Endurance. Jumping over to the last basic and starter class, we have the Mage Vocation. Now this is a range class typical of the magic wielding. They are offensive, defensive, and support for their entire party. This is the only vocation to use a staff, and they have access to a single healing spell. The reason why this is so significant is no other class in this game or anything else can heal. So this is specific to this vocation, and it actually can heal your party. This makes Mage incredibly valuable to your party and additionally to any other vocation, or at least against any other vocation. They are very weak to melee enemies, but if they can keep their distance, their offensive spells do pack a punch, and they have great flexibility between support damage rolls. Now for the Mage weapon skills, we have Flagration, Palladium, Frigor, Lightning Boon, Empyrean, Argent Tonic, Spell Hold, and High Levin, as well as Regular Levin, Fire Boon, Ice Boon, Halatum, Celerity, Solemnity, and High Flagration. I'll go over 2 here, one that kind of bounces off the other, which is that first skill here, Flagration, which unleashes a swirling jet of flame straight ahead for a period of time. This flame actually ignores defensives and can pass through multiple targets while active. The caster can also still move. And then one of the boons here that should apply to the rest of them, or at least be in some similarities. This enchants the caster's weapon or that of a single ally with lightning. That enchantment will persist for a period of time. This also works similar to the other boons as well. For core skills, we have Anodin, Quick Spell, Levitate, Magic Bolt, and Focus Bolt. For the augments, again, we have those 2 at the top, the Conveyance and Opulence, Epitropism, Beatitude, Perpetuation, Intervention, and Exaltation. Now we actually jump into the advanced classes. Some of these are hybrid classes and some of these are just advanced classes in general. For the first advanced class and non-hybrid, we do have Warrior, which is jumping back to kind of how Fighter was. Now the Warrior class here has no need for the Fighter's shield. They rely on heavy armor and robust constitutions to carry them through the combat. They're not as tanky as a Fighter, but Warriors make up for it with massive increases to their actual damage. They specialize in two-handed weapons, which is both the Greatsword and the Hammer, which are charged up to land a single blow. The Warriors will level up unique skills which allow them to attack multiple enemies, so some AoE effects there. And in the original Dragon's Dogma, the Warriors could also provide crowd control by hitting enemies with stunning blows. We'll have to wait and see if that applies with Dragon's Dogma 2. The Warrior has Mighty Sweep, Stone Splitter, Breakneck Stripe, Repulse, Barge, Chain of Blows, and Bulwark. A cool one here is Bulwark actually reduces the damage taken from hostile targets during a charge attack, so there's some of your defensive with that. And then the Mighty Sweep here is the AoE effect, which sweeps in a horizontal arc. Holding the activation button turns the attack into a charge slash and makes the viewers less likely to flinch. So a decent one there, also providing that stagger resist. For core skills, we have the Skyward Sunder, Goring Lunge, Savage Lash, Ladder Launch, Gale Slash, Tidal Fury, Heavenward Sunder, Below, Rendering Sweep, Null Breaker, Revivify, Surging Strike, and Raising Sweep. For the augments, again, we have those 2 that seem to be carrying across every class, which is Conveyance and Opulence, Pertinacity, Dominance, Vitality, Intrepidity, and Impact for the augment. Now moving on to our second advanced class, we do have the Sorcerer. Again, this is a non-hybrid advanced class. Now this does further increase your magic abilities, however you more than likely won't have a heal anymore. You'll use both hands to channel arcane energy through large staffs. They have a ton of access to area effect damage. Again, you do have that lower defensive with this class and quite significant, so the positioning with it will be very critical. And also getting hit while channeling these spells can interrupt your cast. For the weapon skills, we have that Flagration again, Thunder Mine, as well as Frigor, Hoggle, Prescient Flare, Spellhold, High Flagration again, Levin, Salamander, Decanter, Seism, Bolide, Maelstrom, and High Levin. Going over some different abilities here, we do have that Thunder Mine, which conjures a ball of lightning that automatically unleashes crackling bolts at foes who draw near. as well as that salamander that conjures a flame that slithers toward enemies along the ground. The flame will remain for a period of time and deal continuous damage to any target it touches. For core skills, we have Magic Bolt, as well as Galvanize, Quick Spell, Levitate, and Bursting Bolt. Augments, as you know, we do have those two, Conveyance and Opulence, as well as Catalyst, Saga City, Asperity, Stasis, and Constancy. Those two will wrap up our advanced classes. Now we'll go on to the hybrid classes. Now because these are newer, we don't have a ton to go off of, but we do for the Trickster at the very least. So for the Trickster, it is a brand new hybrid vocation. It specializes in conjuring illusions through smoke created by their unique weapons, which can group enemies together and attack each other or use taunts to draw enemies away from their attacks. You can also additionally use smoke to draw attention away and taunt attackers. You can also create what are false areas of ground off cliffs or even walls that you can see through but enemies cannot. Overall, this class can provide you with the tools to master your surrounding environments that your party can use to attack from their strongest vantage points, and additionally you can temporarily increase the power of your pawns beyond their normal limits. Again, since this is such a newer class to the Dragon Dogma universe, we don't know the exact specifics on everything. However, they're probably going to specialize mostly in buffs, which again, if you are looking for more of a support role, this is definitely the class for you. Now their weapon skills do vary it from Sweeping Shroud to Aromatic Rally, Tricky Terrace, Dragon's Delusion, Delusory Screen, Espial Incense, Aromatic Resurgence, and Visitant Aura. For example, an ability like Tricky Terrace creates that illusionary horizontal platform, again, which you can see through but enemies cannot. Dragon's Delusion summons an illusionary dragon to inflict knockdowns. Their core skills are Mending Vapor, Trailing Aroma, Enthralling Aroma, Drifting Broom, and last but not least, Effigy Quick Burn. For the augments, again, we do have Conveyance and Opulence, as well as Detection and Enlightenment. For the next three, we don't have as much information around, however, we can kind of pinpoint things together. First up being the Mystic Spearhead. Now again, this is a brand new vocation, and it is a hybrid vocation. It resembles the original Mystic Knight from Dragon's Dogma 1. Now this vocation is pretty cool. It specializes in both melee and magic. That means you'll have the ability to attack at close range and even long range. You'll fight and do physical damage with your specialized weapon called the Duo Spear. And again, this weapon is actually unique to that vocation, and it looks like the Mystic Spearhead will also give you some crowd control abilities that can even paralyze foes and enemies. Now currently we don't have a list of their abilities or what their potential abilities might be. However, their weapon skills will mostly consist of Teleport Attack, Magic Bolt, Magic Shock, Body Throw, and Wild Fury. Again, these are mostly speculation so far, however, these will probably be the primary ones. For the core skills, there's going to be a light attack and a heavy attack, as well as some AoE and physical damage. Now, this class does have a weakness as it doesn't have any defensive skills, but it will have high mobility with dash and teleport. Second to last here, we do have another hybrid vocation. Again, this is brand new to the Dragon Dogma universe. That is the Magic Archer. Now, while this might seem like the Mystic Spearhead, it seems like the Magic Archer is going to be more specialized, where your attacks will be done with pure magic. Even the arrow themselves will be in pure magic and not physical form. That means you'll be primarily engaging in long-range combat, while also casting spells and shooting arrows. They're supposedly going to be far superior to their physical counterparts, as they will always hit their intended target. And you can also specifically choose the elemental nature of your arrows, thereby enabling you to target enemies based on their specific weaknesses. Again, not too much is known about this class. We're going to mix in some archer stuff here, but we don't really have the abilities for it so far. It does seem like this is one of the least known classes so far. However, it's probably going to play on a lot of archer abilities with also magic, which I think is fairly obvious there from the description overall. Last up, we do have the Warfare, which is the big one that everybody's been talking about. Now again, this is a hybrid vocation. It's brand new to the Dragon's Dogma universe. This is the most unique one because you can choose any combination of 3 weapons in the game. Essentially, your choice for weapons allow you to switch between any 3 different vocations you choose, and you'll be able to choose skills from each weapon and vocation. This means you can adapt to any playstyle in real time, which means that you can respond to different enemy types, weaknesses, and even environments. However, they will have a weakness more than likely, which is that because they have access to so many skills, they won't be able to level them as high as one will be in the individual vocations. Now again, because this is a mix of all the other classes and all the other vocations together, we don't really have a grasp on the abilities aside applying the previous classes and vocations together. What we know so far is that they will be a more complex gameplay style, and they will require a higher level to master because they are a jack of all trades. Now we have had some rumors that the Warfare class and vocation won't be accessible until after the game completion or very late into the game. So this is not something that you can get off the bat and will be a class for much later. Again, that is the complete roundabout for all the classes. However, we do have that tier list for the classes here where Mystic Spearhead is at the top. It does seem like this is going to be the strongest class overall, with Sorcerer being second to that. And another significant one is that Trickster is at the bottom because it is more of a support class. We'll have to wait and see on everything. Again, this was a combination of Dragon's Dogma 1 as well as some of the abilities known for the current game. Hopefully this helps you choose which character type and which to play. Overall though, it should about cover for today's video. If you like and subscribe. Until the next one. Deuces.